Good afternoon from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Ross Johnston. Vol basketball got back on the winning track last night, beating number 11 Louisville 83-62. Jacoby Gillespie led all scorers with 23 points. Freshman Nate Ament dropped 13, and Jalen Carey put up 12 off the bench. The Vols will face Gardner Webb on Sunday at 2. In Titans news, 3 players are returning to practice today. Edge rushers Femi Oladejo and Ali Gay, and wide receiver Bryce Oliver. Cedric Gray will not practice today with a concussion, and neither will safety Amani Hooker, who has an illness. In NFL news, the Miami Dolphins made a couple of moves today, starting with a quarterback change as Tua Tagovailoa has been benched, and rookie Quinn Ewers will get the starting nod. Ewers has yet to play this season. The Dolphins also released veteran edge rusher Matthew Judon, who will be available on waivers. Lastly, in a couple more pieces of NFL news, the New York Jets reached a 2-year, $10 million extension with tight end Jeremy Ruckert, who is a Long Island native, and the Packers got some good news as wide receivers Christian Watson and Dontavian Wicks are both expected to practice today in limited fashion. For all your foundation repair, waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news and watching your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number, and we're broadcasting live from the 104.5 The Zone Circus Sports Studio. Kentucky's largest sports book can now be found at Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs. And do you want to start with how all the safeties for the Titans apparently went on IR yesterday after we went off on air?
Oh, yeah, of course. And I was wondering if I was going to get a call because I kept getting these numbers, that I didn't recognize.
Yeah.
And I don't answer numbers that I don't recognize. And I didn't hear a voicemail from the Titans. I was thoroughly disappointed.
I would assume so. I mean,
no,
at this point,
that's crazy, though, just to lose 3 guys.
I mean, you may need to start training Ross to play safety at this point between breaks because he's probably the most athletic out of all of us currently right now.
He definitely has the bod, man.
Yeah, I played a little bit in high school, played some safety.
There you go. Yeah, you did. Safety and wide receiver, man.
Yeah.
I see you getting kind of swole back there, man.
No,
You got your twitchy muscles going there?
Out of shape right now.
I mean, the Tennessee Titans yesterday, after we went off the air, placed on injured reserve safety Mike Brown, safety Kevin Whiston Jr., safety Xavier Woods, all on season. And it's obviously season-ending IR because there's only 3 games left, and IR is a minimum 4-game stay. So their seasons are done, which is so sad.
Their hammies were what were the injuries? Ankle, Brown.
I'll have to pull that up.
With Winston and Woods?
Yeah, I believe
Woods
so.
was hamstring for sure.
Woods was definitely a hamstring. But they then signed from the Detroit Lions practice squad Eric Hallett, who is a 2023 6th-round pick who's drafted by the Jacksonville Jaguars, went to college at the Pittsburgh Panthers, and he has played a total of 119 defensive snaps this year. And then they also signed Sanusi Kane as well.
Who?
From the Sanusi Kane.
Come on, man.
Not the Sanusi.
Come on, man.
That's his name.
No, not you. But
I think you talking about me. Who? I say, man, that's where we're at, though. I mean, and we putting 3 safeties on our. We start reaching, and hopefully, maybe we'll have a find here. You never know.
You never know. Signed for the Baltimore Ravens practice squad. Sanusi Kane is a Purdue Boilermaker who was drafted at the 7th round in 2024 by the Baltimore Ravens, who did play some snaps for the Baltimore Ravens this year, 12 defensive snaps this year.
Oh.
Good pronunciation, too, over there.
Yeah, that was easy.
I wonder if that was the game I went to. Was that against the Texans? I was there live because they had a lot of injury in the secondary, and it was guys. I was like, man, who is that?
No, Buffalo, Cleveland, Detroit, and L.A.
Oh, okay.
They also claimed a guard, Garrett Dellinger, off of waivers from, he was a LSU, I believe.
Yeah, LSU. Yeah, he was at LSU.
From the Cleveland Browns. And today they designated to return to practice Edge rusher, outside linebacker Ali Gay, outside linebacker rookie Femi Oladejo is designated to return. Ooh. His 21-day practice window is open. And wide receiver Bryce Oliver, may actually get to see Bryce Oliver.
Watch this. I got a question for you. You may not know the answer. Where's X-Man?
Well, they expect.
He's on stream every day.
They expect Xavier Restrepo to practice today. There's a good chance that he starts practicing today because he's not on IR. He just missed his last game. So X-Man may be back as well.
Oh, man, because I get so many people in the chat and everybody asks me, where's he at? What's he going to do? He could turn the whole thing. We had calls. He hadn't played in a couple weeks, and they were looking for him, said he could change this whole pass receiving, group. I'm like, oh, I haven't seen that yet.
Well, I think the guy that everybody needs to be just appreciative of right now is Gunnar Helm. That's the guy
he's a tight end.
I mean, like, he's out there running routes like a wide receiver at this point, and he's running them pretty good.
Yeah. And blocking.
And his blocking has really turned a corner as well. It's tough because Kevin Winston Jr. just needed these reps these last 3 weeks, and for him not to get them. Here. It's tough. I hate that for him big time.
Yeah, because his talent level. He just needs to experience a lot of different things. And then they kind of worked him into, kind of being that nickel guy too, as well as, that way he's close to the line of scrimmage, still can blitz and do a lot of different things. Sky's the limit, but he's got to stay healthy, coming off the ACL. So sometimes, your body got to be careful, make sure he, stays healthy moving forward. But, man, this is the second time Kenny had the hammy stuff. Yeah, it was time to I missed those reps. And Femi's, coming back too.
Yeah.
That you want him to play, but you don't want him to, continue to, play hurt if he's not fully healthy with him.
Like if you were probably constructing usage for Femi Oladejo at least this week, if he were to be active for this game, you probably want Jalen Harrell to play the majority of the rotational snaps because obviously Jihad Ward and Arden Key will start. Jalen Harrell will be third, then Femi Oladejo play sparingly and get him back up to, I guess, a ramp up. Because would you want him to go in there and play like a 30-snap game right off the bat?
This is why I'm not coaching.
Yeah.
Because I would be like, oh, man, he's a young guy.
Yeah.
He needs these reps. If he's healthy enough to play, never know how much he may play.
And listen, they
you don't know.
They let JC. I mean, obviously JC Latham is a different story, but like they let JC Latham play right away off that hip injury.
He had a little more experience, but yes, it is when you're younger. Hey, let's see him out there and let's see how it goes. So once he gets in the rotation, let's keep him warmed up. Let's keep him going.
Yeah.
Let's and then if he comes out says he's tired or doesn't feel real good, then let's back him back. But, yeah, you got to let him play, man. See what he's got.
Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Dalton in Nashville. Dalton, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
How y'all doing today, guys?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing great.
I can't complain. I was calling to ask, as of this moment, we have the second pick in the draft. Now, obviously, Giants have the first and Raiders have the third, and they play, I think, next week, I believe. Now, wouldn't it be in our best interest for the Raiders to get that pick? Because in my thought process is Geno only got a 2-year extension. Maybe they use that first overall pick to get a quarterback, meaning that the second overall pick, if it would be us, we don't need one, so we would be the first team to actually be needing to trade for one. What do y'all guys think? Have a good day.
Just a few corrections, Dalton. They are the third overall pick because while they're all tied, Vegas, Tennessee, and the Giants, the Tennessee Titans have the toughest strength of schedule, which means the toughest strength of schedule, you're supposed to lose games. You don't get the benefit of that. So that's the tiebreaker. And I think Dalton thinks head-to-head is the tiebreaker. And because the Titans lost to the Raiders, they are number 2. Oh. But the Tennessee Titans have the toughest strength of schedules. They're actually number 3. And then, but you would like he
Who's
is
number
right.
1 and 2?
1 is the Giants, 2 is Raiders, and he is right. You would technically look at this 2 different ways, I guess. If the Giants win and the Raiders lose, the Raiders are going to take quarterback 1 no matter what, and the second quarterback helps you out as well. If the Giants win or the Giants lose and the Raiders win, well, the Raiders and other teams are still more desperate to come up. This is all also relies on the fact that Tennessee's not guaranteed that they're going to lose these last 3 games. I mean, the Chiefs at home, and you have New Orleans
at home.
Saints also play the Jets this weekend as well. It's a big game.
That's a huge game as well. And then you have the Jacksonville Jaguars, who may not be playing for anything. And if they're not playing for anything, they may bench people. And if they're benching people, I mean, like, they may have their playoff seeding wrapped up, is what I mean by that. And if that's true, then they may bench people. And then that's should theoretically be an easy win for the Tennessee Titans, but we know nothing has come easy for this Tennessee Titans team.
Yeah. I would say outside of the first pick, if you're not the first pick, then is there another quarterback that's going to be rated high? So the draft actually, and where these guys are rated, is going to, impact, those positions of where you're at in the draft order. So we must remember that. If it's no big time quarterback outside of 1, then it's going to be tough. But if you're number 3, let's say, you may have missed out on probably getting a trade capital. Just doesn't know. It's still a little early, but move.
And also, like, if it's just you and the Giants and you guys are both in top 3, there may still be an opportunity to trade. There may be 3 quarterbacks taken. This is depending on what happens with Ty Simpson and Dante Moore, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this really seems like this is a quarterback-thirsty set of teams when you really look at it.
Do you think the Giants, watch this, I'm going to say,
okay.
Speaking on the Giants, you think they would take another quarterback in the top 3 after drafting Dart? And reason why I asked that, wait a minute, because of his concussion history. And then you start saying this may not be a guy, his longevity may not be where it needs to be because of his style of play already. So you may go back to the drum board with a new coach, by the way.
Right.
See?
Well, that's what I was about to say. Let me add another layer to what you're saying, because I was quick to say no.
Right.
But you say the concussions. I was then going to add on to that. New coach, not his guy.
Right. Yeah, see? So it's an out there.
And it's a little bit different situation than Cam Ward and someone saying that's not his guy. Cam Ward's been healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Cam Ward is a number 1 overall pick. I get that Jackson Dart's a first round pick, but he's a guy with already a lengthy history of concussions, like you said, so maybe a little different for the Giants team. I would assume the Giants would still trade back, but to entertain it, you never know. You never know. New GM.
They were looking at video games, too.
Well, that's true. New GM, new head coach, right? Because I don't know if Joe Shine is really going to stick around. So you may have a new GM and a new head coach, which could be totally out on Jackson Dart. They may not have liked Jackson Dart. And then you have behind Tennessee is still Cleveland, New York Jets, Arizona.
Ooh.
I know New Orleans has Tyler Shuck and they're winning games, but it is Tyler Shuck in a second-round pick.
Oh, I don't know, but he's quit looking at the picks and look about how he's playing.
That's true.
How's he playing? I know you didn't like him coming out. I liked him.
I think he landed in a great spot with Kellen Moore.
Oh my! So now you're downplaying how good he's playing.
Kellen Moore.
I just thought he was an older quarterback and well schooled by Brom.
Yeah,
Brom is a really good guy, really good with quarterbacks. So I thought the possibility of him, grasping the NFL offenses and coming in and kind of slowly picking it up, being a second-round pick. Although those picks, I know everybody gets infatuated now. Everybody thinks you have to have a first-round pick. That doesn't matter where he goes to me. If he is producing, that doesn't matter. That's thrown out the window when you're a quarterback because, it's hard to pick the right one and get one that's good. He's showing as a young player in the league that he can grasp the offense, and he's gotten better every game.
Yeah.
And now he's starting to win. In the clutch moments, too. So I don't know if they would take one and they have Rattler as a security blanket, as a backup, which is basically what he is in the National Football League. So I won't go so fast on New Orleans doing that. What I would be concerned with is that the Jets would try to trade up to get up there higher after number 1 to get the quarterback because they don't have a quarterback.
Well, you got the Jets, Arizona, and then you also have the Rams. They're going to need to. They have 2 first-round picks, and they need to start planning for the future after Matt Stafford.
Ooh.
Then you have Miami, who just benched Tua Tagovailoa today, which we'll get into later in the show. And then you have Minnesota, who we'll see how they feel about J.J. McCarthy at the end of the year. And I would say don't forget Atlanta, but they gave their first round pick up to the Rams. I would say don't forget the Colts, but they gave up their first round pick too. So like there's two teams there that normally would have needed picks that are now in the first round anymore. So there's quite a few teams that need first round picks. So if Ty Simpson has from what I've heard, if Ty Simpson has a good playoffs, if Dante Moore has a good playoffs, that will make people kind of forget the last month of Ty Simpson. That will kind of make people forget the start of the year for Dante Moore. And they're going to be like, enter into the draft because we need quarterbacks in the draft.
I like Ty Simpson. I think he's playing a little injured because I haven't seen him run and use his athleticism as much as he did earlier in the season. So I don't know if that's kind of affected his play. But the team overall, Alabama, hasn't played up to snuff here at the end, and naturally it all goes on the head coach and the quarterback.
Right. That is true.
Got a big opportunity this Friday night.
There is, and I can't wait to talk about that game. I'm also dreading watching that game because I feel like it may be a boring game. I don't know.
Huh?
I'm very nervous.
It's going to be a defensive game?
Well, I feel like if I downplay the game and how boring it is.
Defensive guy? What do you mean?
It's a reverse jinx. That's what I'm hoping for here. As an Alabama fan, I'm hoping I'm a reverse jinx.
I love to see 10-9. You want to see 31-29? I mean, oh, no.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, John Mateer was wiping out in individual drills this week in practice, falling over dummies and stuff. So
here's why I do want a offensive game, because I want Ty Simpson to enter the draft to help the Tennessee Titans just in case they land outside the top two. So, and also I'm an Alabama fan. They need to win.
In that part.
Yeah, in that part. More importantly, for my sanity. All right, coming up next, we'll go to more of your phones, 615-737-1045. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons right here on 1045 The Zone.
There are a lot of things Americans split on 50-50. We talking about politics, working from home versus the office, coffee versus tea. But there's one thing we all agree on, right? That taking your car in for repairs can be complicated. And your repair is only as good as the person under the hood. And most of the problems in fixing your vehicle is a knowledge issue, not someone trying to rip you off, right? You want to believe that. And a lot of techs are not properly trained, so they end up guessing what to do, and that causes delays in getting your vehicle back or repeat visits with the same freaking issue. So frustrating, right? For around a quarter century, Eurofix has things differently, and they do things differently. And every visit starts with a free 15-minute no-wrench inspection so you know what's going on before we even start doing the work. And Eurofix pays its technicians more than any other company does to attract the best and the brightest talent around. And Eurofix still fixes European vehicles at below dealer pricing with a 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty on all the work Eurofix performs. And rental cars are available. Locally owned, family run with 5 locations and more to come all over the state of Tennessee. And all you have to do is just give them a call at 844-EUROFIX. That's right, 844-EUROFIX, or you can check them out online at myEurofix.com. That's myEurofix.com.
Let's face it, buying a vehicle should be straightforward and stress-free, and that's exactly how Two Rivers Ford has been doing business for decades. This locally owned dealership has a non-commissioned sales team whose only focus is to find you the right vehicle at the right price without the pressure. So you'll actually have a fun car buying experience. Great prices, easy financing, and a non-commissioned sales team. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
I'll be home for Christmas. You can count on me. I'll be home for Christmas. If only in my dreams.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by all Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. At 1:35 p.m., Cam Ward will be up at the podium, so we'll make sure that we carry that in full. Hopefully, he will be at the podium.
Also, give us the
get that thumbs up. Yeah. All right, let's go to the phones. We started off talking about the Tennessee Titans, just for those that may not remember. Placed on injured reserve yesterday, late afternoon, Mike Brown, Kevin Whiston Jr., Xavier Woods. The Tennessee Titans signed from the Detroit Lions and Baltimore Ravens practice squad Eric Hallett II, Sanusi Kane, and claimed Garrett Dellinger off waivers from the Cleveland Browns, and he was the guard. And then designated to return to practice, so they opened up the 21-day practice window for Ali Gay, Femi Oladejo, and Bryce Oliver. So that's the stuff. And we were also talking about strength of schedule, what's best for the Tennessee Titans, draft prospects. We got a couple of calls here for some draft questions. So let's start first with Tommy. Tommy, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Thanks, guys. I'm from Ty Simpson's hometown. I blame some of his problems on the offensive coordinator. Ty can run, and they haven't run him that much. I don't know if they're worried about getting him hurt, but, they don't have much of a running back game, but I don't know why they don't.
But is he nicked up or a little injured? More. Do you know, Tommy? Is he a little nicked up?
I don't know, but I know that I know he got injured I know he got injured in the Oklahoma game, but before that, they still wasn't running him before the Oklahoma game, so I don't know why that's not happening. And also, I'm from his hometown. I know his parents. I know money makes people change their mind, but I'd be shocked if he didn't go back to school.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, he comes from kind of like the Manning family, they're going to stay till they graduate. So I would be, and I might be totally wrong because I'm not.
He won't be graduating? I thought he's been there 4 years, right?
Year.
No.
He's got another year.
Right, but how many years has he been there?
3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and this is the first year he's, ever started.
Right, as a totality. That makes sense, though.
Yeah.
It's
sometimes going back to school can help you. I mean,
yeah. You the one brought the stat to us about having
Daniel Jeremiah and who did he do the Move the Sticks podcast with?
Is it Bucky Brooks?
Yeah, Bucky Brooks brought that up. Like the cutoff is like 25 or 29 or something like that for successful quarterbacks being drafted and starts.
That's to have your best shot.
Yeah, your best shot.
Yeah.
I know. I have to look it up. Bill Parcells had a similar stat as well. And all that. Concerning his health, because I know you asked that question. He said after the Auburn game, he said everybody's getting hit. Simpson said everybody's sore in some type of way. So basically, he's just kind of normal wear and tear as the season progresses. It sounds like from those words, because he was asked about how healthy he is.
So, but do you think he told the truth?
I don't know. Now, Simpson was asked yesterday. Wait a minute, what is today? Wednesday? Monday.
Because I wouldn't want to reveal I'm injured if I'm a quarterback.
Right. He said, I'm great. I'm excited. It's great about his health. I'm great. I'm excited. It's a great opportunity to play in the college football playoff at this point in the season. I don't know a team who's healthy at all, so fire me up. I'm ready to go.
Right.
He's going to be getting that shot pregame, Blaine.
Maybe.
Ross would tell him he's injured.
No, he's not. He's fine.
Let's go to Abear. Abear, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Abear.
Hey, guys. Love the show.
Hey,
I believe that for Cam's success, we need to have a good running game. So I would like to know your guys' opinion on Jeremiah Love, and if trading back, the Titans would still be able to get him. All right, I'll hang up and listen. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, I've heard people say that it would be borderline irresponsible for the Tennessee Titans to draft Jeremiah Love. And I think it's the opposite. It's borderline irresponsible to at least not consider drafting Jeremiah Love. Because a run game can help. I mean, Jeremiah Love is a guy that will probably get the rock, touch it in passing game and carrying the ball, depending on who's the new coach.
Right.
About 300 times a year. That's a pretty important guy to have on your roster. Yeah. And I look at Jeremiah Love. I don't know where you can trade back really right now, this early in the season. I would say you can't probably trade out of the top 7 and still be able to get Jeremiah Love because he should be a top 7 pick. But it really depends on how the draft order shakes out.
Where did Bijan?
Bijan was
top
5 or 6.
Yeah, he was
right up there.
And there are exceptions. I'm not a big, draft a running back high unless
7.
they are exceptional. And Jeremiah Love is in that category. And so if it's not a strong draft in what the Titans need, which is, to me, receiver, immediately impactful players, or, pass rusher.
8th overall.
Pass rusher. So I would definitely consider this. And then now, if you do, where did you go with Pollard? Because free agency is first, right?
Right.
So, and he's only $6 million, so salary. I don't know if I would even let him go. He's only 28. He'll be 29 going into next season. So I don't know if that's really something that I would do as far as getting rid of Pollard because I drafted Love.
Right.
I think I would still kind of work with that because, as I believe, as the caller's talking about, is I like having a run game with your quarterback, especially who the head coach is. That will determine that. And if you're going to be a pass-happy team, then you're never going to win that way.
And every of these, listen, most draft prospects are going to fall under this description I'm going to give. But a lot of these wide receivers have a lot of negative marks to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jordan Tyson is great.
Nobody just stands out when you're picking.
And the two guys that stand out like that are Caleb Downs and Jeremiah Love. Find me the flaws in their games. Yeah. That's the problem is that
I love Downs. I know their family. I know him personally. I wouldn't take him because of where the Titans sit.
Right.
Hooker and Winston.
Yeah.
See, so
right.
I feel like that I can pass on that
right.
one. Now, this is how you got to get out of your feelings. Now, my feelings would say draft him because I like the kid. I know who he is, know what he represents. I would go Love. For sure. Because I want exceptional talent. If I can't get a pass rusher or a big-time receiver that's elite of the elite and comes in and impacts our team immediately, I know what Love will do.
There's no Jamar Chase in this draft.
Is not?
No.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Like, there's screwed again.
There's no Jamar Chase. There's no Myles Garrett in this draft. Now, there's going to be people that are going to talk themselves that Arvell Reese is kind of Myles Garrett.
Well, they do that every year with
Love.
They try to talk themselves into it, but there's no Travis Hunter, no Abdul Carter.
There's
being
no
a high pick. Okay, who are the elite guys of their position? So we know Love is number one.
Yeah,
it's a difference in the gap.
Caleb Downs and a huge gap between the next safety, in my opinion.
Okay.
Receivers, there seems to be 3 or 4, and then a big drop off. Maybe
I don't even know if there's a big drop off. To be honest,
who'd you say?
with
I
you.
missed it. Who'd you say?
I was saying receivers, there might be 3 or 4 and then a big drop off, but Zach just said he doesn't think there is that big of a drop off.
So who are your top
I don't think
three?
there's a big drop off.
Yes, I know Tate is up there, right?
Tate, Tyson, and
Makai Lemon.
Yeah, Lemon probably.
A lot of people like KC Concepcion from Texas A&M, smaller guy.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like
I wouldn't mind, but I feel like we got that guy in a sense in DK.
So to me, it's like
You need route running.
Tyson's great. If he didn't have injuries, you could sit here comfortably and say he's wide receiver 1. He will be the best wide receiver in the class. But because of his lengthy injury history over the last couple of seasons, you can't say that. I mean, you could say he's going to be good, but you don't know if he's going to be the best out of this class.
Elite, right.
And elite of elite. And
This
so
is why-
to me, I feel like you're reaching for a wide
Do not
receiver
reach.
at 3. You're reaching for an edge rusher possibly at 3.
I'm going to go to another part then to this. Are there any elite receivers that are going to be free agent? You may not know the answer to this because that's how you start balancing this out. You already know what the draft is, and you go, well, then we got to do this in free agency because free agency is first. And it may not be any number 1 receivers out there, then we're screwed.
And I feel like that's what a lot of people forget is like people look at the draft and they're like, oh, we don't have a quarterback right now. We need a quarterback. Well, what if you get somebody in free agency? They're not drafting a quarterback then. So it's like we won't be able to fully tell until they potentially address some of these needs in free agency.
We know any free agent receivers that we know of right now.
Alec Pierce and Romeo Dobbs. I mean, and again, I keep saying that you really don't need a burner that takes the top off the offense unless you change offensive schemes.
I'd much rather have Romeo Dobbs in that situation. I think he's much more of a route runner than Alec Pierce is. And it's no shot to Alec Pierce. He's a great player, but we know where his success comes in an offense.
I'm just not all in if that's going to be my number 1 and we're talking paying 20, 25. Nah, I like those guys if I'm at a modest salary, but not there.
The best edge rusher in this class, and I'm going to keep saying it, is David Bailey from Texas Tech. Y'all can all fall in love with Arvell Reese if you want to, because he's a hybrid, but he's a little lanky. And Matt Patricia and like no double-digit sacks, no, all that kind of stuff. Like,
was he a multi-tool guy?
Yeah, he's a multi-tool guy, but those guys, you got to choose one or the other. Sometimes in the NFL, he's not Micah Parsons. He's not Abdul Carter. He's not Jalen Walker.
We got some bad luck going on here right here.
He's just a poor imitation of those guys, in my opinion.
Yeah, like we need a pass rusher. Just imagine a lead pass rusher with
David Bailey is the best pass rusher in this class. I will die on that hill till he proves me wrong. Texas Tech.
Okay, I'm going to go check him out.
He's awesome.
Yeah,
all right.
I was watching that game. He was looking okay.
Let's pull up and see if we went a little over, so we were going to
go. Well, we were doing that just because we were waiting for this presser.
Yeah. Let's go to the phones while we wait for Cam Ward. Let's go to Carson. Carson, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
George Pickens.
Doing good. How are you?
Good.
Great. We have this situation now. Fun to talk about the draft. It's super early, but a lot of mocks have us take an edge up higher wide receiver, but people are thinking maybe pick 3 or 4 is too high to take one of the shiny wide receivers. So maybe to benefit the team in the long run, is it really the worst thing to maybe win a couple games and kind of, to benefit Cam in the long run and the offense for next year? Because can you really confidently go into next year with, our current offensive weapons, maybe adding a guy like Alec Pierce for A-plus money? I don't know if you'd be super confident in the offense doing that. So maybe winning this Chiefs game this weekend, maybe you win your way into a little bit later where you can take one of those receivers.
Hey, listen, Carson, I think that's a great point, but also I would say this, depends on who your coach is. All this really depends on the coach, because at the end of the day, there are great coaches and people, and let's say they even go defensive and they get a great coordinator that can do more with less. Mm-hmm. We've seen the people here that can't do that, more with less. But there are people who can scheme with, you don't need look at the Saints. Kellen Moore is doing pretty good with less. Now, they're not lighting the world on fire or anything, but you can also kind of look at the Panthers. I mean, outside of Ted McMillan, that's all they got. And then they have Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard, and they're a competent offense. Like, there are different ways to go about building a team. Yeah,
I saw Luke Kuechly talking about it today on Pat McAfee, and he was talking about that they built it in the trenches first.
Right.
Offensive line, then the second year was the D-line. Then they got the skill pieces through free agency. So they kind of merged them together with free agency and draft, and that's how they got back there with, as you're mentioning, the right coach.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's all that matters when you're talking about this draft process, is that the offensive coordinator or the offensive head coach or whoever it may be able to get more out of the pieces that you currently have, while also being able to add pieces and build a well-rounded team. You don't have to have, look at Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. I know this is probably a bad year to choose them, but they don't have, wide receiver one to win a Super Bowl. Like, they do it by committee. They do it because they got Patrick Mahomes. Now, then their offensive line fell off, according to, going back to the Panthers example, and Kelsey. But for me, you don't have to spend the number one pick, or your first-round pick, on a wide receiver or on an edge rusher just because those are your needs. And so for me, that's kind of where I'm at with this, is that, Ruben Bain, there's a lot. That Miami guy, the Miami edge rusher, there's a lot coming out right now about him. And that's the guy that's constantly mocked to the Tennessee Titans. Yeah. All right, we're going to go to the podium where Cam Ward is at right now.
Go.
What he's proven in the league since he's been here. It's a matchup that I think every team will look forward to, going against a team like this who've been to multiple Super Bowls in a row, been to AFC Championship. So, it's a big game for us, for sure. We're trying to, go out there and try to find a way to win.
Compared your play style to Patrick's in the draft process. Do you see similarities? What are the things that maybe you see that you guys do similarly?
I would say the scramble drill, the finesse in the pocket, and then I think I just got to continue to find ways to play the game how I see the game as well. But it's 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 hard to have your name mentioned up there with someone who's won a couple Super Bowls. You get a chance to go against his team this week.
And with the scramble drill you just mentioned, do you think there's an adjustment period or a learning curve for receivers to get on the same page with what you like to do or the way you might handle a scramble and maybe create a secondary or tertiary route out of it?
Yeah, I think that's one of the hardest timings that you can get with a receiver, just because they truly have to know what you're thinking at that time. And half our receiver core, they know what we think, especially the ones who's been here throughout the whole season. And the biggest thing is really finding space, like those guys continue to do. We got to continue to make those plays.
As you look back on this year, how do you feel you've handled the pressure of being the number one pick and being the guy that the franchise's hands is put into your hands?
I just wake up and go about my business, honestly. I don't really see no pressure into it. I get to do something every day that I like to do. But I'm always remember the hard times that I went through my rookie year. I remember the good plays that I made in my rookie year. I remember, how many reporters came to, report the team one year. And I remember the next couple of years, when there's a lot more reporters out here, trying to get footage on it. So you just got to continue to take it day by day in the process. We continue to, feed into each other as the locker room, continue to, give emphasis on the coaching staff, what we're looking for ahead. And, we're ready to, turn it back around.
What if you had to pick one low moment of this year and one high moment? What would you say those are?
Low moment, I would say from a play, I would say probably Vegas game, fumble, had Chin wide open, missed him on the touchdown that, could have helped him. And then I would say high moment, just, finding, getting that first win in Arizona with the guys going down 2-minute drill, Joey Slye ending it off.
I think the hardest thing has been, the hardest adjustment has been for you, and how have you managed to overcome that?
So the hardest adjustment, I would say not trying to manipulate the pocket as much as I want to, more kind of feeling the pocket, because every game it changes. No matter they got a all-pro edge rusher, or just a real good edge rusher, the pocket always changes each and every game. So I think that was the biggest thing that, I just continue to adjust to, as games go by.
Do you feel like you've had your signature game yet where you've played exactly the way you want to play? And if so, what game do you feel like it was? And if not, why do you feel like it hasn't happened yet?
I don't think I'll ever have a signature game in my career, honestly. Every game there's going to be some bad tape, whether it's one player, two players for myself or another teammate. So I don't really, try to chase having a perfect game. I try to chase just, having a good play every play. Because in the day, I'm going to have a bad play. I'm going to throw another interception. I'm going to fumble the ball again at some point in my career. So the more I continue to stress in myself, limit the little bad plays and just continue to build on what I already know, what I'm good at, and then continue to put the ball in space to my playmakers. I think that'll serve me better in the long term.
Knowing how close you are to finding out who the next coach is, knowing how big that guy and his staff is going to be for you, is it difficult at all not to be a little bit anxious about finding out who that is?
It's not difficult. I think the coach who's going to come in and have the interview process with a couple coaches that we do interview. I think they're going to come in all with the right attitude that we want to win. They're coming in to a place who's, going to, be behind them, the guys in the locker room. I'm going to be all in on this head coach. And I'm going to continue to do what I need to do, for my teammates to, help put myself in a good situation and those guys.
How much would you like to be in on the front, not hiring the guy, but as far as, meeting all the candidates that they bring in and kind of seeing what they have in mind maybe for you?
I want to meet all of them. Every coach who's going to get the opportunity to come here, I want to meet them, have conversations throughout the whole process with them, because that's someone that I'm going to be here with, for that time. So we got to just continue to, me being around and being open to no matter whoever we try to hire, because I know at the end of the day, who we do hire is going to be the right fit for us. Whether it's a defensive person or offensive person, they're going to make sure that every person, in the right place and make sure that every person is set up for success.
Have you had conversations already with Mike and Chad about wanting to be involved with this, or maybe what some of the qualities you might want?
Yeah, I've had conversations with them about wanting to be involved. They know how much I want to be involved, and then especially just not even with the scheme part of it, just as the head coach, who he is on an everyday basis, and then we'll get into the scheme, what I know I'm good at, what I want to do, what he thinks will also help me.
3 games left in the regular season. Obviously, the focus is winning. Aside from that, what are you trying to hone in on and really trying to focus on these next 3 games?
I'm really trying to hone in on the offense, us taking 6 plays that's bad and having that cut down to 1. And I think that will allow us to, continuously, be productive, running the ball well, throwing the ball well. And I think that will just continue to springboard us into the offseason to next year, being, a production-based offense.
Clicked for you in the run game these last two games for you guys?
I just think we emphasize, the little things, especially up front, straining blocks. And that's something that, a lot of people know just the pain those guys go through on the week out basis. For them to continuously fight like they do, that's why we're able to get it off the ground. I think TP and Tajay, they see it real well. The coaches, I think the past couple weeks did an unbelievable job in the run scheme, doing what the players are good at and what we want to do. And so, we're going to keep on rolling from there, keep on handing it off.
With so many quarterbacks going down like Mahomes throughout the season, how much pride do you take in the fact that, so far you've been able to take every snap?
I'm blessed. And, I don't take it for granted. Every time, I step on the field, I know it could be my last snap. So, I try to just play with a carelessness, to you never know when it's going to be your last snap. So no matter how good the play is, no matter how bad the play is, you always got to play next play. And I just take it as a learning experience. It's going to be highs and lows throughout this whole season, as I already are. And then just continue to try and get better every day.
Cam, you haven't had a chance to walk off the home field yet with a win. How much are you looking forward to having a chance now with 2 more games left this season to try to get at least one?
That's the plan, to win both of those at the crib, to go into next year with a little home game winning streak. And that's what, our fans, they need to see. They need to see us winning at home. We need to make our, home atmosphere one of the best in the NFLs. We get a chance to go do that on Sunday, against a good team.
And what do you think worked so well with the O-line, but really everybody else in the backfield, yourself included, in your decision-making to come out of that game without a sack?
I think it just spoke to everybody, the way we have to play to be efficient, from the O-line, straining blocks and pass protection specifically. The running backs picking up protections. The past couple weeks they've done real good with that. Then myself just continue to play on time, check it down early if I have to take the shot if I need it or got it. And then just really I would say the best part is just the more we can continue to, run the ball efficiently. It's been helping us, and then play action off of it.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, that was Cam Ward at today's presser. We'll give you our reactions when we come back. This is Cover 2. Blaine Bishop, Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
Around here, it can sound like a language of its own. But hey, if you can pronounce Demumbrian, then names like Yossi, Shea, and Marchessault will roll right off the tongue. Nashville Predators, only in Smashville.
One of the largest sports books east of the Mississippi, Circa Sports Kentucky, is now open. Catch all your favorite games on an 80-foot screen with stadium-style seating and live VSiN broadcast daily. Circa Sports, now open at the Mint Gaming Hall, Kentucky Downs.
My dad and I used to golf together all the time, but when he hurt his back, it was over.
To have your son want to spend time with you is amazing. That's why my chronic back pain has been so heartbreaking. Surgery, fused bones, long recovery. No way, not for me. A friend recommended stem cells, so I gave Kellum Stem Cell Institute a call.
I'm glad you're out on the course.
Yeah, it's really good.
Call the Kellum Stem Cell Institute today. Swing still looks just okay though.
Selling your home can be stressful, but it doesn't have to be. Get a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. There are no showings, no open houses, no stress. Work with the #1 real estate team in the U.S. and close with confidence. Go to markspain.com today.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by all Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. Okay, so Cam Ward just spoke at the podium. A lot of self-reflective questions, and all that kind of stuff. And I believe it was Terry McCormick who asked something about chasing, or about, what does a perfect game look like for you? Or do you expect at some point to have like a perfect game? Signature game.
Yeah, that's it.
And he says, I never try to chase a perfect game because you're never going to be able to get a perfect game. And what do you think about that? Because I know you've been pretty big on there is no such thing as a perfect game. You're going to lose some, win some.
Right, but you're striving for that.
Yeah.
I think it all has to do with your mentality. And when you're at the quarterback position, you know instantly that's not going to happen.
Right.
So I just think he's got in the right frame for him and what he has to do.
I love the answer.
So I thought I would have said, I thought it was a good answer, but he wouldn't be accepted. I would have said, I'll let you guys determine my signature game. That's what I would have said.
Yeah, I like that.
So, so that way you don't have to delve into, your kind of your psyche of what makes you who you are as an athlete. So, yeah, but it was no problem with that. So, but one thing that stood out to me, was there something that stood out to you?
Well, I was going to say, he talked about trying to get the 6 bad plays down to 1.
Oh.
That was towards the end. I thought that was a good way of looking at it. But he also talked about he wants to be involved in this coaching search.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. It's as though they've already had conversations about it with the upper management, and I just don't think players should be involved other than conversations with upper management to be sitting in on the interview process.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because I don't know if he technically means he wants to be on the interview process or just kind of like do a meet and greet.
He said that. He said, like, I want to be on the interview process.
Let's talk about that.
Maybe he didn't. Maybe I just kind of took it that way because that's kind of where the
it kind of. I could see why you would think
like,
that.
Ooh, I hope
I
it
took
wasn't
it a
that.
little bit of a different way, but
Okay.
let's talk about that when we come back, because that will also tie into what Adam Schefter said, and maybe we talk about a little bit. Use that to talk a little bit about this whole hierarchy in the Titans building and front office, and a little bit of what Adam Schefter had to say on our show yesterday, which you can go check out on YouTube or in podcast format, wherever you listen to 104.5 The Zone. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone. Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by all four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. We played Cam Ward's press conference from earlier, just a few minutes ago, and he was asked about the head coaching interview process and does he want to be involved? Has he expressed his desire to be involved and all that kind of stuff? So we got the clips thanks to our producer, Ross behind the glass. He was able to go ahead and pull the clips for us. So we're going to replay those and then talk about those clips. All right. You ready, Ross?
How much would you like to be in on the front? Not hiring the guy, but as far as, meeting all the candidates that they bring in and kind of seeing what they have in mind maybe for you.
I want to meet all of them. Every coach who's going to get the opportunity to come here, I want to meet them, have conversations throughout the whole process with them, because that's someone that I'm going to be here with, for that time. So we got to just continue to, me being around and being open to no matter whoever we try to hire, because I know at the end of the day, who we do hire is going to be the right fit for us, whether it's a defensive person or offensive person. They're going to make sure that every person, in the right place and make sure that every person is set up for success.
Have you had conversations already with Mike and Chad about wanting to be involved with this, or maybe what some of the qualities you might want?
Yeah, I've had conversations with them about wanting to be involved. They know how much I want to be involved, and then especially just not even with the scheme part of it, just, as the head coach, who he is on an everyday basis. And then we'll get into, the scheme, what, I know I'm good at, what I want to do, what he thinks, will also help me.
So after hearing it a second time, or do you still hold true to what you think? Like, do you think he wants to be?
You're the one trying to change my mind. I thought he said, I want to be part of every part of this process.
Yeah.
And every coach that comes in here in an interview process.
Yeah.
I kind of heard it that way.
Yeah.
See?
So do y'all think that means that he wants to be on the formal interviews? Because I guess that's where I don't think he wants to be on the formal interviews. I think he just wants to have his own conversations.
That's you guessing what he said.
Yeah.
He said, I want to be of all the candidates on the interview process. So what did you take from that?
Well, I would say that when they come in to interview, that he wants to at least meet him and talk to him, is how I took it.
Yeah, but that's still in part of the whole shebang.
I think he wants to be in the part of the process. I just don't know if, I don't think he wants, it doesn't sound, my takeaway wasn't, when I hear him talk, I'm not picturing him in the room with all of them around the table asking questions and interviewing. It's more of like a formal, maybe like meet and greet, like a cute meet, if you want, like when the guy's visiting and stuff. Like not necessarily inside the interview room for the formal interview where like Burke and Amy and all them will be. But maybe I'm wrong on that.
I don't want to assume that that's what he was thinking.
Yeah.
Because of how he said it.
Yeah.
He said it in a form that he wants to be part of all candidates' interview process. I don't think that's acceptable in my opinion. I don't think the quarterback should be in part of that process. Now, when you narrow it down to your final candidates, maybe you bring them into the room and say, hey, these are things you give them the pitch of what you've heard from the final candidates and say, hey, what do you think about it? And maybe you sit in. I'm not a real big proponent of any player being a part of any process of hiring. Of the head coach. I mean, it has nothing to do with Cam. It's just my take on it. Now, what I do want from my players and my quarterback is what is needed in our locker room.
Yeah.
I want to stick to that. When has Cam Ward ever hired a coach?
Right.
Let's start there.
Yeah, I don't think he should definitely never have a decision.
So why does he want to be part of this meeting?
I think he wants to be able to meet the guy.
No, he said all candidates.
Yes, he wants to meet all the candidates.
But he didn't say when we narrow it down.
No, he
to
did
the
not
final.
say that. I agree.
Right. See, so that's saying I want a part of this whole entire process.
But also, do we know?
How'd you take that, Ross?
So it seemed to me he put it in 3 steps, right? Because of how he kind of talked. He talked one about being a part of the interviewing process, and he said, I want to be around. So that made it sound to me like not much vacation time in the offseason.
Right. I was like, well, when are you going to work out? What are you doing here? You got your own personal trainer. They're going to come up here. Like, that's kind of what threw my head. I felt like he wanted to be part of the process.
But then the second part was, I think, more what you were saying you want him to say is he was like, I want to be with whoever the new guy is and like how he's going to coach and how he's going to lead this team.
That's
Basically,
after they hire, and that's what I would expect him to say.
Like culture
after
building.
they hire that guy, then we sit down and have conversations.
And then he went to scheme at the very end.
I would also ask or question whether he even knows how the interview process in the NFL works.
I highly doubt that.
You know what I'm saying? Like how the stages are.
So then why do you make that statement? He's not dumb now.
I know, but I think he wants to have. Here's what I think. See, I think we're all saying the same thing in different ways.
Let's start here. Here's the one question that needs to be answered, and where we're seeing it different. Do you think he needs to be part of the interview process at any point in time?
Yes.
With no hiring experience.
Now, here's what I'm
yes
saying.
Or no?
I said yes.
Yeah.
So
why do you think that?
Okay. Well, I'm going to explain.
Mahomes
you asked me why. So let me answer why.
I said wait. I had my finger up. So you said that. I didn't. Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers. We can go down the list. Peyton Manning had nothing to do with their hiring process. Well, we're talking about Hall of Fame guys.
But
so
also
why do you think he
Mahomes'
should?
Coach was already there,
Well,
so
I know,
that's
but
not a
I'm
good
just saying,
example.
they wouldn't. I know, but we can bring up. I mean, all of them didn't.
Right.
I mean, none of them. The Peyton Manning had different coach. They never were part of the process. Why are we going to let the 24-year-old or whatever age he is, being the first pick of the draft, be part of the interview? I think that's
so
going down the road.
So you never think that Peyton Manning or any of these guys ever met with any of the candidates?
After the guy was hired, absolutely.
You don't think they met before it was hired?
Maybe when they narrowed it down to two. That's why I said a caveat is when you narrow it down and you say, hey, it's between these last two, we kind of want you to sit down and meet with them and have conversations. That's not part
what
of
I'm talking about.
Right? He didn't say that.
But I don't think he knows that the entire process. I think what
do you mean?
No,
he
see,
doesn't
Blaine,
know?
I agree with that. Like,
What do you? Whoa! You're saying he doesn't understand that they're going through multiple candidates. That's what you guys are saying, and that he doesn't know how this process works.
Well, I think
he does.
Well, even if he does, we're not really. He's not really saying from start to finish. He's just saying, I want to be part of the process.
No, the way he said all of the candidates. That was his exact words. So tell me what you thought he said then.
Okay, let's replay it because I don't remember all the candidates. Not saying that he didn't. I just don't remember.
How much would you like to be in on the front? Not hiring the guy, but as far as, meeting all the candidates that they bring in and kind of seeing what they have in mind maybe for you.
I want to meet all of them. Every coach who's going to get the opportunity to come here, I want to meet them.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, that's also, Cam also said this was going to be a top 5 wide receiver core and all that kind of stuff. He tends to kind of just exaggerate a little bit.
He just said all we can do is go by what he said.
Yeah, but I think we can also kind of clarify that we know that he's not going to be part of all of them. And I agree with you. He should not meet all of them.
Okay, that's all I'm saying.
But I do think he should be involved in the process. But when I say process, I mean, that could be any point in the process that the Tennessee Titans feel like it needs. If it needs to be when he gets into the second round of interviews or final round of interviews or final 5, however many you got, that's still being part of the process. Now, he may view that differently, but
he didn't say that.
Yeah,
so
I know he didn't say
words about he said all. He just said
right.
But why? But let's not act like his word is what's going to actually happen because it's not.
No reason why I say it because he said I've already had conversations with the guys up top. And then we have already discussed, and I told them I want to be part of all of this process.
No, I
he said that.
He said that, but doesn't mean that he's going to be.
No, I know, but I'm just saying what he said.
Yeah.
And I don't think he should be part of all.
I will agree with
process.
that. He should not be part of
That's
all
I'm
the process.
saying. The whole
but
time.
I don't think he's going to be.
I haven't changed anything that I said.
I agree with that.
No, so we all agree on that. So is there any issue though with him actually he's probably not going to be. Is there any issue with him saying he wants to be? Just whether just to say it or to show leadership, whatever. I don't see any issue with him saying that. I'm with y'all. I see an issue in him actually being able to do that. If anything, it should be like a collection of leadership, captain-wise, that could be in some of the later things. But
I think it's a tough call because you're now empowering a player with upper management decisions. And you have to be very careful.
I would agree with that. You got to walk the line.
Yeah, you got to be real
front
careful.
office.
Let's say this. He picks the guy when you get to your final. Let's say that happens. and then that guy's a flop. Then what happens then? Who gets the blame? You management do.
Cam Ward should not have the final say. If anybody's out there saying that he should have the final say.
And to me, that's the direction it could possibly go.
Well, oh, gosh. If it goes that way, then we have bigger issues than Cam Ward even saying that. Because, I mean, it should not. He should only just meet and get to know the guy, and that's one part of the process.
And that's about all he does.
Yeah, that's all he does.
But that is not what he said.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
So
I can understand what you're saying.
But that was my question. We all agree he should not. Is there any problem, though, with him saying he wants to be? Is there any issue with him saying that?
Like no, I don't have an issue with him saying it. Now, I would have an issue with the Titans allowing that.
Yeah, like listening to him and going through with it.
You get what I'm saying? Like, I would have an issue with the Tennessee Titans, Borgonzi and Brinker and Amy and Burke and whoever is involved, allowing Cam to have final. Cam should not have final say. Cam's opinion should be like 1/8 of the overall hiring pie, so to speak.
Well, I don't even think it's the most powerful player opinion.
It's
Jeff
not.
would be more powerful to me.
Because there's 53 players,
but
right?
also, Cam's been in the league for 1 year. Jeff's been in for however many now.
I don't mind him meeting a few of the candidates, letting them get to know him getting to know them. But ultimately, if you feel the best guy is the guy that maybe your number one guy out of the final five, your number one guy is Cam's fifth guy, go with your guy. Don't go with Cam's guy. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but see, that should never be with Cam's guy, our guy. See, that should never get to that point because he should not be part of the process. You're still saying he's part of the process. He has an opinion.
Well, I'm saying this is what I'm saying. Well, he's going to have an opinion. They're probably going to ask him his opinion, but they should not weigh his opinion heavily.
This. They should not be asking him his opinion. See, I just said no player should be, and I just named Hall of Fame guys, should be part of hiring any coach.
So then what's the point of him meeting the final five then?
You got to have a structure. I don't think he should.
He shouldn't even just talk. No players should talk to any of the coaches?
No. Here's what the player's role is in this whole process. The player's role should be, hey, man, we're going to be interviewing a few guys. You may know of them. What do you know of such and such, such and such, and such and such?
So there is no meeting between any player and any coach.
When you decide the last two or three, then you may kind of rev it up a little bit. But as far as them sitting down and having any part of the interview process, no. Now, if you want to meet and greet when we get down to the final three, and
that's what I'm talking about.
I know, but that's not. I know, but you keep acting as though that's what he said. He did not say that.
We're beyond what he said.
But I'm just telling you how the structure
we're trying to have a different
work.
Conversation.
We're
talking about the structure is what we're trying to talk about.
Well, I'm telling you how the structure should work.
I know, but here's my question, Blaine. Let me ask this question.
I don't agree with any player part of the interview process.
Not even the final five?
Not the final five.
Because I'm trying to get to the final five conversation here. You're going back to the other conversation.
Because you guys said he did say all in there, but I'm going through my process. I gave you my process.
I know, but can I ask a question to clarify on your process? Is that all right?
No, I'm still explaining. You keep interrupting me. Well, I keep saying no player should be part of the interview process and that they should be at the final stages that you bring in and then you meet them. And that's it.
Okay, so
that's
when you're...
it. And I've been pretty consistent throughout.
So when you are at the final five and you said that you would have them meet at the players, meet. Okay, so do you not think that they are going to ask or give an opinion? You don't think the staff will ask?
I would want them to have just different conversations about what are you thinking about offense and, what's needed in the locker room. Kind of just general conversation that's not really an interview. So you're sitting in the lunchroom and you're just having dialogue.
Right. I agree.
So that's not an interview.
After it's over. No one's going to give or get an opinion. Like you don't think the staff's going to go to Cam Ward or the players or other players say, "What'd you think of the guy?"
Well, of course, but that's not part of the interview process.
Yeah.
See that you're acting as though that's. I said they're going to sit in the lunchroom.
Right. But that's what I've been saying. A meet and greet, a cute meet.
Ultimately, here's what you're trying to avoid. That a player has been empowered in hiring and he's never hired anybody.
I agree.
And so you got to be careful with that, which way he may want to go. Maybe it's an offense and a defensive guy, and he only likes the offensive guy because that's the side of the ball he plays on.
Exactly.
So then you got to be careful on how you do this. And to me, I don't think being a one-year player and an average player at this point in time of his career that he should be having say-so in any part of this process.
Yeah, I don't think he should have any power. That's what I'm saying. He should not have any power, but they're going to eventually ask him his opinion, even if after a lunchroom meet and greet, they're going to ask. But I mean, it doesn't really matter.
I think there's indirect contributions from the players to the process. Like, Blaine, out end of every season, we got exit meetings and whatnot. Right. That's really the time to be like,
what is needed in the locker
what is
room?
needed?
What is missing? Like that's kind of the information they're bringing in. If they know the coach, or someone on that team, like what do they say about that coach? So I'm trying to pull information out of them, not be part of the interview process, but help me really get a deeper understanding of who this person is.
Yeah, like what are some of the qualities we should look for that our players? I would honestly say more captains, not players that have just been picked up off the street mid-season. Like, what are they looking for that they think could help? That doesn't mean we're going to hire just based off of that, but that some of our guys, that's what they're noticing in our locker room, which we don't get to see all the time. So we need to
basically what you're saying. I know I agree with you. Basically, what you're saying is everybody here at the station that's on air talent should be part of hiring someone to do at on another time slot. We be part of that. See, that's what you just did. Like, that's the exact same thing. Do you think you should ever be part of hiring somebody on air? See, now I'm going to translate it for you. That's why you should never get to that level of influence. Whoever the number one guy on the radio.
I agree. The front office should not give and empower Cam Ward. You have to play it delicately. Right. He can't be involved, and I agree, with the entire coaching process. But the only thing I was saying is that if he meets the five guys or the final five in the lunchroom meeting, they're going to ask him his opinion, but they shouldn't weigh heavily his opinion. Just like they shouldn't weigh heavily Big Jeff's opinion if Big Jeff's in those meetings or whatever the leadership count. Whatever these little
I'm going to clarify. No player should be part of any hiring process.
Okay, so they'll never meet the final five.
No, you see five. Maybe two.
Okay, two.
Maybe two.
Gotcha.
Because I just gave you the comparison and you didn't answer it.
I don't think it's a good comparison at all.
Why not? We are all teammates here at the station. And
but we're also not like a number one quarterback pick.
Oh, okay, whoever our number, Ramon Foster, he then now gets to sit down with Allison and Paul to make a decision on somebody being hired here at the station.
I don't think Cam Ward should be having a decision, and neither should Ramon.
No, right.
And again, we agree on this. I think we just got so off the rails.
Even final two.
I don't think they should weigh Cam Ward's opinion, but they're going to ask his opinion is all I'm saying, but they should not weigh it at all, because you don't have a conversation.
If you're not going to weigh it, why are you asking them?
Okay, so if they were to enter, did they ask you what'd you think about me?
No, they did not.
I don't believe that. Come on.
I promise you, and I'm saying this on air, by the way, I had nothing to do with the hiring process of anybody at this station, you included.
Okay, well, I stand corrected. I stand corrected.
Now we get the facts not rumors.
Yeah.
See, so I had nothing to do with anything. And matter of fact, I made it clear I wanted to have nothing to do with the interviewing process.
Gotcha.
Because that's not my expertise.
So they didn't ask your opinion after we were off the air?
No.
Like, what'd you think of the guy or anything?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
There you go.
Nah. See
All
that?
right.
There you go.
Yeah,
now you know.
You are consistent.
I am.
That's
right.
consistent.
That's what I said.
All right.
So basically, moral of this entire something of a segment is that they should not give.
Do you think you should be part of that? Like the person sitting across from you?
I would say this. I would like to. I would hope that they would ask. Did you feel like you had chemistry? What'd you think of them? I would hope that they would ask that. Now, whether they hire that guy or not, that's up to them.
Yeah.
I would hope they would ask that
because I wanted to make sure it was up to them. See, that's why. Because if I would have gave input, then now it's on me.
Gotcha.
See that?
Gotcha.
Okay. That's why I asked you if they hired the wrong guy, because that's who Cam wanted, because he wanted the offensive guy. Then,
gotcha.
Whose fault is it? Oh, it won't be Cam Ward's. It'd be your fault.
Yeah.
So why don't you just make the decision?
There you go. All right. Coming up next, let's talk about what what Adam Schefter said on our show yesterday about this hiring process, about what they have to say about Brian Callahan's firing. What maybe is the big picture to take away from that? This is Cover 2. Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone. Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door. 615-737-1045 is
personal.
the number. Yeah, people really think it's personal.
Oh, man, come on,
Yeah.
you ding-dongs. Come on, man. It is never personal.
Blaine went over there.
I don't think any player should ever be part of a hiring process of a head coach. I just don't. If you're talking about any winning organization, imagine if Donovan McNabb went up to Lurie and the owner told him who to hire. And Andy Reid?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
I mean, that's
You gotta
listen.
be
I
freaking
think
kidding me, man.
you do
Come
bring
on,
up
man.
good points.
I think people think players have some kind of power like that. It's not the same. You know what? Here's the only time they asked me something, and I'm just trying to be in general. McNair had nothing to do with any hiring process. Eddie George never did. Like, they asked me when free agency came about, hey, man, what do you think about Thigpen? And I said, well, he looks good out here. And that's all I said.
Yeah.
He looked good out here at the Pro Bowl.
That's what I was going to say.
I say, so you're supposed to ask about players. Like when you start talking about hiring a coach, man, that is an upper management deal. And that's what I wanted to get to, and I never got to because you got me off track. But is that he should have said that's built on the upper management, even though that would have been not what happened.
Yeah.
He has already talked to them. But you don't bring that out to the public. You say that's upper management decision, and whatever they wanted me to be part of this process, I'll be part of.
Yeah.
That's how you answer that question. That way, no one then starts delving into how far you are in part of this process.
And also, Blaine Bishop Media School needs to happen for these players. I think this does bring up a really good segue into what we want to talk about. Adam Schefter was on our show yesterday, and I asked him about the Brian Callahan firing and the process with that, because I do think there's a little bit of Games of Thrones-esque thing going on here. So let's hear from Adam Schefter.
You know, I think they actually wanted to keep him, to be perfectly frank. I think that they were hoping to ride out the season with him. And I think it got to the point where eventually the owner wanted to make a change. And when the owner wants to make a change, it's time to move on. And I think basically that's what happened. It's her team. She gets to call the shots. And she decided that they would be better off moving on. I think, honestly, like they were going to go that direction at some point in time. It just happened sooner rather than later. He was a great offensive coordinator. And I think he's a coach who's respected and well-liked around the league, but not every great coordinator becomes an effective head coach. We've seen it time and time again. Just because you're great at calling an offense or working with quarterbacks doesn't ensure that you're going to succeed as a head coach. He's grown up all around it. I think he knew just what he was getting into. It's just unfortunate for everybody that it didn't work out.
There's actually another question I want to ask you that came off that clip. But first off, to your point, because we kind of talked about the hiring process of me, and you were like, well, no, I didn't want that on me, and I'm like, oh, well, that kind of makes sense. And then I'm thinking of how that translates to the Tennessee Titans, and I'm like, this franchise has kind of shown over these last 4 or 5 years, there is no accountability. It's all blame game and pointing fingers.
He said, she said.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it is all accountability. So I'm like, Blade's kind of right. Cam Ward probably doesn't want to be involved because as soon as they hire the guy that he said he wants, he's going to get blamed for it.
They're going to say, well, Amy, that's who Cam wanted.
And we all agreed Cam could be part of the process, so that's Cam's fault.
Yeah.
So you're kind of right. But, this organization has a little bit of Games of Thrones feel to it because let's not forget, let's backtrack it, right?
That's good.
I mean, it really does because the whole Vrabel thing, Vrabel and Robinson, Vrabel won that power struggle. Vrabel wanted his guy. They went ahead and hired Rand Carthon, who was not his guy. And they may have worked together. And I know they texted, and I guess they're friendly. They probably trauma bonded over working for the Tennessee Titans. and then he wanted Ryan Cowden. Then Ryan Carthon hires from outside his circle of trust to go get Chad Brinker. Chad Brinker then gets promoted over him a year later, and then Rand Carthon's out. Even though this 2024 draft class is looking pretty good right now, to be honest with you. But that guy's gone who drafted that draft class, and Chad Brinker hires Mike Bergonzi, and then they end up keeping around Brian Callahan because I kind of feel it's a little scapegoatish to keep him around. And then Brian Callahan, hey, Amy says someone's head has to roll for this season. Well, it's on Brian Callahan.
Someone's head has to roll right before Vrabel comes back.
Right. Right. So to your point, this is
you gotta now. You see what I've been putting down. You picking up what I put down.
I'm picking it up now.
This is hey man. Hey, I am not part of that, and I wish Cam would have said it that way.
Yeah.
Even though, truthfully, they've asked him question how much he'll be involved. Nobody really knows. Maybe little, maybe a lot. But you never put that out there. And I think that's because now, these guys think they can just say whatever because that's what they do. Man, I would have never said that even if I was part of the process.
And listen, the NFL is a very Game of Thrones-esque situation anyway. You have all your little kingdoms, and each kingdom has a king, and everybody's coming for that crown, and everybody wants to be in power, and everybody wants to blame other people. That's the game. If you were hired as a head coach, you have to understand that's the game. Robert Saleh may not have understood that was the game, and it's magnified times 10 up in New York. And he had decisions made for him about his own staff from ownership, and we're seeing that same stuff play down here. We saw it play out with Shadur Sanders over in Cleveland. I mean, it is a game where you have to understand that you're walking into drama. You're walking into a situation where you better know what's going on. I think Vrabel understood this. Because Vrabel insulated himself more often than not with people that he can trust. And that's how you win this Game of Thrones kind of power struggles, and it's working up in the Patriots right now. But also Bob Kraft has his people insulated. Yeah. It's just right now a perfect storm, McDaniels. But there's already stuff coming up over in Boston's radio that maybe Vrabel wants to get rid of McDaniels. See? The power struggle already starts because can only be one king to rule them all, right? Only one voice matters. And at this point, the only voice that should really matter, and when I mean matter, I mean, obviously the owner's voice always matters, right? They always have final say. But the only voice that should really matter is Bergonzi's because this should be Bergonzi's decision. You need to have one guy be your football power broker.
We need to just let people do their job.
Right.
Just do your job.
But see what I'm talking about. I completely agree with that.
But the problem is that Chad Brinker has a title that's over president of football operations.
And why is that even needed?
You're right. So it needs to be Bergonzi. Bergonzi needs to be the football main and most vocal football voice in the room. Everybody else can have their input, but the final decision needs to rest on his shoulders.
And like y'all were just saying, if it goes wrong with that, at least it's one guy. It's not like this turns into this blame game thing.
And it's he said, she said. And that's the thing. Every hiring and firing since John Robinson has been a he said, she said, divisive thing. Even though they put it under the guise of collaboration, it has not been that. It's always been someone, maybe three people, always looking out for their own self-interest. And listen, that's life in the NFL. But at the same time, as an owner, you need to empower Mike Bergonzi to make this head coaching hire. And that way you know exactly who to blame, who to talk to, who go and see. You don't need to then go and see with Chad Brinker. Why is Mike Bergonzi letting the head coach do this? No, you go talk to Mike Bergonzi and say, why is the head coach not living up to what you said he was? That's who you go to. You don't need, that's why you know who to go talk to. And right now, there's too many people in the ears of the owner.
Blaine's sitting
now
there like
you're
a proud
preaching.
dad.
Now you're preaching.
See?
He's sitting there like a proud dad right now.
I am like, now you preaching.
Yeah.
That is the NFL right there. And now you're going to bring in another voice? The quarterback?
Yep. I'm with you now. You convinced me.
Man, I don't know, man. If I was Cam, I'd be like, yeah, when you hire that guy, then we'll have a sit down. Hey, man, he got to work with me because I'm the quarterback.
Right.
So, hey, I don't
If you want to get info from Bones Fossil on Chris Shula, who crossed paths with him, or you want to get Bones Fossil's info on Mike McCarthy, that's fine. You're not empowering them. You're doing your own investigative process on histories and ties.
That's like
but
players
that needs
with
to,
free
again,
agency.
be Mike Bergonzi doing that. Does not need to be Chad Brinker and Mike Bergonzi sitting next to each other, or Mike Bergonzi sitting at the table with Chad Brinker behind him, or like they're in an interrogation room and Chad Brinker's behind the glass.
On his
It
lap
needs to
or
be
something.
just Mike Bergonzi. Like, that's all it needs to be. Let's not complicate this.
And that's what's
Complicating it is why we're in this mess to begin with.
Concur.
So can I ask y'all real quick?
I love it.
I know we only harped on the first part of Cam's, 3-part answer. Did you like the last 2 parts? Because I like the order he mentioned culture first with the new coach and helping establish that and then working on the scheme. Right. Because this team's got a culture problem, like we've said.
Well, and most players play in all these different schemes anyway. And we kind of talked about how all the schemes are kind of similar. And there's only, 1 or 2 big differences from scheme to scheme to scheme. So Cam should be able to fit almost any scheme that you bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
And so at that point, it really comes down to culture. That is the most important part.
So, yeah, and I completely agree with all of that. And then you say, who has done it and built culture?
Yep.
And see, if that's the most important thing that you identify as an organization, hearing from your players, then that should be at the top of the list, or one of the top things there that you're trying to look at when you're hiring a coach. Whether it's leadership or even if it's a first-time coach, that's why you just don't know. Show me when you've built culture. You might have done it in college. Maybe not where you're at today.
Maybe you did it when you did the linebacker coach, or something like that.
So show me, this is kind of the same thing you do in interviews for a regular job. So I think that's the more impactful way elite players, Ward and Simmons, and can impact and help make sure that we get the right guy.
And that brings me back to Mike McCarthy, because I think a lot of people, when they talk about Mike McCarthy, they also bring up that he showed like Austin Powers and some Hard Knocks video or something like to the players. Well, the culture was fine in Dallas. So I mean, it may look dopey or cheesy from the outside looking in, but the players seem to respond to it. Right? I mean, just because we may not view that as like, well, that's a real man's man, or that's real cool that he used Austin Powers, doesn't mean it didn't work.
Yeah. I just wonder, like, some of the coaches, we're talking about, let's use McCarthy, a guy who's a veteran coach, you say, well, he must know how to build culture. Was the culture already built in Green Bay where it made it a little bit easier for him?
Maybe.
Was the culture already built there in Dallas? So then I want him to give me examples of how he built those cultures and what part and role he had in that. Or does he have a guy that he hires as assistant head coach to do some of that, and is the rah-rah guy, being that, players are younger and he's kind of the old fart guy who's an X's and O's guys, because, I just never seen him get upset or anything on the sideline. I mean, he could be totally different behind the scenes.
Right.
And if you're dealing with Dallas, you got to deal with a lot of different things, let alone media to the owner. So, but there is one boss, and everybody knows who that is.
Yep.
And so you're
you got to start doing that. You got to start having one boss for everybody else's boss.
See, so all those things are way more important than having a player sitting on the meeting. That's all I was really trying to say.
And there's a question I want to ask you in the chat, but also a question from what Adam Schefter said as well. And then we also got Bear on the line. So we're going to go to commercial break. Coming up next, we're going to go to Bear. Then we're going to talk about Schefter. And then we're going to talk about this question. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
Naturally, it's the holiday season and, holiday parties all over the place, man. I can't wait to get ready for them. I'm already thinking about what I'm going to be eating, too, at these holiday parties. And I hope I don't pick up that holiday weight that always leads me into the new year. Well, the approach to weight loss at Edge Peptide Hormone Therapy is a little bit different. We make sure all patients have extensive lab work and face-to-face conversations in office with our nurse practitioner to create a customized treatment plan tailored to your specific needs. They use only U.S.-based FDA-audited compounding pharmacies because knowing where your peptides come from always matter. And Edge walks through the process with you, guiding your treatment, answering questions, or supporting you along the way. As well as you can enjoy access to their in-body scanner to track weight loss and making sure you're maintaining the muscle mass and not losing weight because you're starving yourself. As well as you get to lower your A1C, keeping your cravings in check, prioritizing protein, and having someone guide your journey from start to finish. So call the team at Edge Peptide for all your wellness questions at, of course, 615-724-1878. That's 724-1878 or online at edgepeptide.com.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by all Four Seasons Garage Doors, 615-737-1045. Should have had you play the Knight Rider theme since we heard that ringtone during the Cam Ward press conference. I don't know if you caught that, but someone's phone was not on silent, and it played the Knight Rider theme.
It was right after his clip that we replayed, that the two coaching answers. I almost wanted to keep it in at the end, but I didn't.
Yeah,
I should have.
It was going into the Knight Rider theme.
It was going on with all that commotion that was going on outside our studio here.
Yeah, whatever was going on, like a
on,
bunch of cats or something over there.
They were They were mad about Cam's answers or something.
I guess so. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Bear in Springfield. Bear, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Bear.
Bad professors. Some guy called it earlier named Abraham. I just hope y'all didn't think y'all confused me for him. We obviously.
Well, that was my first instinct. I was like, did he mean to put Bear because we see that Ross types the names, and I'm like, is this Bear or Bear?
Sometimes he has typos.
Yeah,
we never know.
Yeah. But I totally agree with what y'all are saying. Players shouldn't have really any say on who the coach should be. They should not have that type of power. Cam he had to have a seat. And but players have tried in the past. It didn't really work out. I remember Rodgers brought in all the coaches to the Jets, and basketball is a little different because one guy can make a difference on team. Because LeBron, he pretty much hired all his coaches. But I think you shouldn't empower players like that. I agree with that. I remember when Tom tried to bring his own training in, and Belichick shut that down real quick. But Blaine, I'm telling you, man, I know you always kind of poo-poo the coaching thing, but bro, you would be a heck of a position coach, really, at this point. Maybe develop it to a head coach, because you will not be misunderstood. You will get your point across. You will not let your charges. Whoever you in charge of, you will not let them leave the room misunderstanding you and being on the same page. And I commend you for that. And that's all I got, guys.
Thanks. He does bring up LeBron. And it's funny because LeBron always makes all the decisions, and he never gets any of the blame.
And watch this. Now he is not getting that, and he's pouting. And I'm telling you right now, sitting on the bench.
So Adam Schefter called Brian Callahan a great offensive coordinator. Can you be a great offensive coordinator without having ever called plays?
Well, he did call plays here.
Well, he did here, but I mean, he was saying that he was a great offensive coordinator before he got here.
Oh.
So can you be a great offensive coordinator without having called plays? That perked my ears up. I forgot about that part in the thing.
What do you think I would say?
I would say no. I mean, that's what I would say. I think that's what. I mean, again, I'm not trying to poo-poo on Brian Callahan, but that's
great guy. I wish I hope he gets a second shot, at least being an offensive coordinator and call plays in the National Football League, because I think he deserves a second shot. He's just a really good dude, and I think he could eventually figure it all out. But we thought we can get some dynamite, right there on the upward tick, and it just didn't work out.
This is the question from the chat I wanted to ask. Kent3509 says, genuinely asking, everyone says culture, culture, culture. What is a successful culture to you, Blaine? Like from the player's perspective, what is it? What does that mean to you? Because he just wonders.
Well, man, culture. That's why it's such a broad, and I don't know really what encompasses that. Everybody could have a different answer for that. I would say I was around just great leaders at every position group. It wasn't just me on defense being the captain, or Eddie or Mac. We had guys that were young players to older players and leaders in each position group. And then we have of understanding, and we would have meetings of what we're expecting and kept everybody in line, even if you were the captain. So it didn't matter. So I think that's kind of how you build culture. They're a young team. So to say that they want culture, well, then some of those guys are going to have to rise up and be leaders. Are they ready to be leaders? Just because you're in a leadership position, position as quarterback, doesn't mean you have all the skills to be a leader at this point. But do they look to you as a leader? And you may be that guy. I would assume Cam Ward is a leader, and I think he is. But now you got to get more of those guys out, with Jeffrey Simmons and some other guys. So that's why being young and understanding how to win in this league is really built through, to me, the players.
Yeah.
The coaches can only do so much. And that ultimately, when you're out there, man, this is our team. And you got to empower them to to think that this is our team. When we get on this field, this is what we got to do. And that's really it for me. Just in a broad scope of it.
I kind of view it like the mission statement or vision is given out by the coach.
Head coach. The head coach.
The head coach comes out and says, this is what I expect. Here's our standard. Here's how we're going to achieve it. And then you let the individual personalities and leaders thrive under that.
I completely agree.
It's like any successful business,
Yeah,
really.
right.
Exactly. That's exactly well said. Perfect.
Because it's like you guys still have to hold each other accountable. If you can't expect the coach needs to hold everybody accountable, obviously, but really culture is kind of built through the players, through their shared beliefs, standards, actions. Like you all have to buy into what they're selling, but you all also have to buy into each other, if that makes sense.
Well, to me, that's communication.
Yes.
That's why
Clear communication.
Clear communication is key for anything being successful in the business world to even in sports. It's very similar. I think people think it's a lot different, even if it's pro sports. It's any level of sports. It works all in the same. That's a tough one, and it's hard to get immediately. So to me, you must have a blend and bring in the right culture type people with veterans in the free agency mixing with this young group.
Right.
Now, they have to listen, and also the veterans have to listen. And then you come together, and then that's when you have dynamite.
Because a part of that is also identity, having a clear identity, but everything needs to be clearly communicated and for people to understand, because people have to understand what you're striving for as a head coach. And you got to also exhibit accountability and get the right people in there, but you also got to bring people with you.
Another great question to ask in the interview process of the head coaches you're interviewing.
Yep.
Another great question.
Another great question for Cam to ask in that interviewing process. Just kidding. Let's not.
I know you.
Let's not do that.
Rookie did say culture is one of those things you just feel when it's in place too. Because everybody's working towards the same goal,
we're
same
marching
direction.
the same direction.
And there's a set standard that does not have to be explained every single day.
And you have to, it's going to take time to establish that, but at a certain point, Malarkey established it. Vrabel comes into a culture that's kind of already established, but he still had his own spin and own set of standards, and you're seeing that over in New England too. Here's my standards. Here's our clear direction. This is what we're going to be. This is how we're going to do it. Now, you guys come on.
Just holding people accountable.
Yeah, hold people accountable. All right, there we go. That will do it for us. 3HL's up next are live at Twin Peaks down in Brentwood.
Yes, good job.
There we go. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone. And in the meantime.
And in between time.
Peace.
Twin Peaks.